that we in turn consolidated and echoed to our partners from government. Dear parents, this afternoon, we are conducting our parent orientation for the school year 2020 and 2021 with the objective of us being more prepared as we transition to the new norms of education. So maraming salamat po sa inyong pagdating at ako po ay natutuwa na tanggapin kayong lahat ngayong taong 2020-2021 sa ILLC. Maraming salamat po. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Ngayon naman po ay ating pag-uusapan na ang mga mahalagang topics para sa paghahanda natin ngayong school year na ito. Let me begin by highlighting some of the key preparations that we as one community have made to make our transition as smooth as possible for everyone. First, as you remember, as early as May, we crafted our Recovery and Learning Continuity Plan, which is an extensive document that outlines our policies, our programs, our principles into a manual, and we've uploaded it on our private FB group. On top of that, we conducted a webinar to explain the salient features of our Learning Continuity Plan. A recording of that meeting is actually uploaded in our private group. And for those of you who haven't read it yet, for your convenience, later in your homeroom orientation, you will see the copy of this is also attached in your welcome kit. Second, we conducted a webinar on Zoom and Google Classroom. How can we forget the in-house videos that Teacher Nina has produced for us to be able to more simply understand the main functions of Zoom and Google Classroom. Other than that webinar, we believe that a customized approach would be needed for us to help our parents and students really be comfortable with Zoom and Google Classroom. And that is why we scheduled one-on-one tutorials for our students wherein the teachers got to focus on specific aspects of Zoom and Google Classroom that they found most challenging. Preparations shouldn't just be focused on technical aspects. That is why we recommended everyone's participation in a webinar on student mental health. And we thank the parents who attended this. Certainly, we got useful insights from Dr. Kenneth for us parents to be more equipped, not just in addressing, but also, more importantly, preventing mental health issues among our children, such as anxiety and maybe even depression. For the past couple of weeks, our teachers have focused on preparing instructional materials, such as their handouts and PowerPoint presentations, so that this coming school year, we will be able to upload the materials in advance for parents and students whose learning pace we know are so varied to be able to even conduct advanced lessons if they wish. For the parents who have requested printouts of the handouts, we are currently in the process of having these reproduced, and we shall be contacting you personally when they're ready for pickup. More importantly, we have successfully conducted a simulated class dry run, which was attended by many of our students from both the synchronous and the synchronous programs. So all of these are just some of the key preparations that we, as one ILLC community, have undergone to make this school year as smooth as possible for our beloved students. Allow me to highlight the 4 key principles that we at ILLC hold close to our hearts, especially this school year. Remember, in our learning continuity plan, we emphasize that the students should be at the heart of our priorities. Their welfare, their needs, their goals, their aspirations should be considered in all the activities that we, teachers and parents, would prepare for them for this school year. The school recognizes that family involvement is key to this school year's success. That is why we work very hard to empower families and caregivers to be effective learning facilitators, for them to be able to maintain and uphold our students' healthy mind, body, and spirit. So very important for us to be stronger partners this school year. And in doing so, we believe that this school year could be one that will produce the greatest success as far as our students' development is concerned. This year, our students will get the chance to quickly and immediately implement whatever skills their teachers teach them in school right at their home. And with their parents beside them, we know that they will be able to generalize skills even better. Lastly, our school aspires to always paint a smile on our students' hearts and faces. So coming to school shouldn't just be all about serious learning, acquiring skills. It's also about getting that comfortable and warm feeling, telling each and everyone that we're one community that's there for each other, that we can actually count on each other through thick and thin. So we hope that through our activities, our kids will have that motivation to wake up on time, dress up, sit on their chair, and interact with their teachers and their peers, or for those in the synchronous programs, for them to actually enjoy the modules and activities that our teachers prepared for them. So remember these 4 principles for this school year. Next slide. We all know that in-school and blended learning are not allowed as of yet. So we will be delivering our instruction through distance learning, particularly synchronous and asynchronous learning. As we know, synchronous learning entails online classes wherein the students get to interact with their peers and teachers real time. Whereas in asynchronous learning, the parents get to download the materials from our learning management system, which is Google Classroom, and they serve as the children's primary learning facilitators. Our teachers will be there to conduct regular check-ins at least 3 times a week, just to make sure that the students are on track and are learning as desired by their parents and the school. Next slide. So let me just reiterate some of our programs in ILLC, particularly for the benefit of our new parents. ILLC caters to children of all ages and even young adults too. We have the Modified Basic Education Program, which is for preschool to elementary students. We also are committed to providing our students an opportunity for partial mainstreaming in our sister school, the APDM. The parents of the MBE students should expect a separate meeting for us to explain how we intend to go about the partial mainstreaming, and this should be around the time when our students are already settled in their main homerooms. Our Transition Ed program is primarily dedicated for our teen and adult students, and it has 5 main components. Applied academics, which focus on math and communication arts. Pre-vocational skills, which teaches our students work behaviors that are necessary for future employment. And we have an occupational therapist who coordinates that subject. Community living, on the other hand, focuses on social skills and communication skills, and this is coordinated by our capable speech therapist coordinators. Life skills addresses self-help, home management, and higher level skills such as self-awareness, also coordinated by our occupational therapist. To offer life-work balance, of course, we have leisure activities as well. And then we have the job readiness program and the functional basic education program, which are considered as supplemental programs for our students in the TEP. In the JRP, we offer our students opportunities to learn practical skills presented in the context of highlighted occupations. We have made a lot of innovations in the JRP, and based on the feedback that we got from the parents and the students during our dry run, it seemed to us that our students actually respond to the format favorably. The FBE is designed for our teen and adult students who still wish to acquire credentials for high school and who are still stimulable to academic subjects given some modifications. This year, we're also offering a senior high school for grade 12, and for the parents and students, the senior high SPED program, grade 12, we will be orienting you towards the middle of the school year on how we intend to conduct our immersion programs. If government still does not allow for on-site training, we have ideas on how to go about this remotely. So don't worry about that. We are doing our best to still provide our students from all the programs a full learning experience. Thank you. Also, we would like to inform everyone that ILLC actually has a therapy clinic. We offer occupational, speech, and physical therapy. Therapy services, being medical interventions, are allowed by the government to be offered in person. So we have a limited capacity for in-person therapy. And for those of you who are interested, you may call the office so that we may assign a schedule and a therapist that would suit your needs. We also have therapists who can offer home-based therapy following, of course, standard and government-prescribed health and safety protocols. Just like what we do in our ILLC educational programs, therapy can also provide online through teletherapy. And for those who might have inconsistent access to internet, some therapists can prepare weekly home programs which outlines the goals and activities for the week into a document. And this includes a 1-hour consultation per week for the therapist to be able to clarify and maybe even modify the activities recommended in coordination with the child's parents and primary caregivers. So once again, therapy services are available in person, through home-based, teletherapy, and home therapy instruction and guidance formats. Thank you. So these are just some photos of our newly renovated therapy clinic. We have cubicles that will be distanced more than 2 meters away or apart. We also have the solo rooms, which would be of particular benefit to our students who are distractible. And the play areas used will be limited to 1, at most 2 students at a time, for us also to be able to observe physical distancing. And we have a staff exclusively dedicated to the play area for him to wipe out all the surfaces with cleaning agents after every use. So thank you. Now, in your welcome kit, which you will find in your respective Google Classrooms, you will find a document on distance learning parent guidelines and protocols. So this outlines some practical tips that are evidence-based for you to be able to be effective learning facilitators for your children at home. So we have highlighted in the next few slides some of the most salient points in that document. Next slide. First, we have to choose a space that is conducive for learning, one that is quiet and adequately lit. Next slide. Evidence also prove that students who work assuming a proper sitting posture are more attentive to the teacher's instruction. So we advise the parents and the students who are here to find a spot in your house where you can actually sit straight on a chair and where you can have a desk to put your gadgets and your learning materials on. So we will be discouraging students who will be watching on their monitor while lying down on their bed, because you know it's so easy to fall asleep and to be distracted when we're lying on our bed. So everyone, we all have to sit straight, and that will help us stay focused. If you need to walk around and stretch, that's fine too. Just that's to keep your muscles and your bones, you know, safe and healthy. Next slide. We have to observe the students all throughout their online learning for us to be able to assist them in case they need technical assistance. This is particularly true for the younger students and to our students who might not be as capable yet in computer skills. Parents are also recommended to allow the students to perform their tasks as independently as possible. You know, in the trial sessions, we'll be honest, we have heard some parents, you know, feeding the answers to their children. Let's extend our patience a little bit longer for them to be able to come up with the solutions and the answers on their own. After all, isn't our goal here to offer our students opportunities for independence? That's right. So our goal should be for our students to be able to try to do things better on their own, not necessarily to please the teachers with correct responses fed by caregivers and their parents. Okay, so next slide. In as much as the teachers would like to be able to answer or respond to your questions right away, when they're in the middle of the class, they won't be able to do so. So please take note of your questions, recommendations, and concerns and relay these to the teachers during their consultation hours. We would also like to engage all parents to incorporate the key concepts and skills taught in school through our virtual classroom in your child's day-to-day activities to foster generalization. All right, even before this COVID-19 pandemic, you remember, dear parents, that our teachers give home instructions. And we always endorse what we have done to you whenever you pick them up from school. So this time around, we will just be doing the same, no? Implement the activities that we recommend at home for our students to achieve generalization and hopefully even mastery of skills. Next slide. Now, we all have to respect each other's privacy and confidentiality. So parents are kindly requested to treat whatever information you might have access to through Google Classroom and Zoom confidential. We have uploaded a copy of the data privacy law that we expect all staff and parents and students to respect. Next slide. All right, so basically those are some of the key points that we all have to remember as learning facilitators for our children. Now, it is my honor to introduce to you our very hardworking and dynamic program director. You all know her. Miss Almeida has been with us for almost 14 years now, if I'm not mistaken. She graduated from the Ateneo de Manila with a degree in psychology and then pursued her master's degree in LaSalle. More so, this period of COVID, teacher Nina has actually settled herself to become our official ano ba to? Tech diva, if I can call her that. Yan, teacher tech diva. Everyone, let's welcome our very own Miss Nina Carmela V. Almeida. Warm
Hi.
applause.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for that introduction, sir. Okay. Again, hello. Good afternoon po to all of you. Okay, so for this afternoon, uh, let's just briefly go through some key terms that we will be seeing from now on. So, as we know, this school year is devoted to distance learning. And our video conferencing tool of choice is Zoom. So I think we're all adept in using Zoom right now. Uh, if not, just let your teachers know so they can help you further. Yeah, and our learning management system for this year is Google Classroom. So I hope that everyone was able to access their Google Suite email addresses already. I hope that you have signed in your Google Suite addresses. Ayan. If not, or if you haven't received your email addresses with the ILLC Philippines na extension po, please let us know so our admin can assist you with this. All right? We will be using your Google Suite email addresses in our Google Classrooms. All right. So for this year, here are the main modes of communication that our parents and teachers can choose from. So depende po which mode of communication you prefer, kindly let your advisors know so they may contact you via email, Viber, text messages, chats, sa messenger, phone calls, or if you wish to communicate via Zoom, that can be arranged as well. So just coordinate with your advisors as to which mode of communication you prefer. But I understand most, if not all, of our sections would have Viber communities or Viber groups for easy dissemination of announcements and reminders. Next, for student monitoring, students under the synchronous programs would have scheduled consultations as needed. So if you want to set an appointment with your class advisors, even with the head teachers, or even with us, just let us know so we can set an appointment. Students in the asynchronous program would have three check-ins within the week. So mainly, pwede pong through text or scheduled calls. So this is maybe short 5 to 10 minute check-in just so the teachers would know your progress with your children. Ayan. So teachers can also give you recommendations and suggested activities to help you teach your children at home. Ayan. And then for this school year, we have three set PTC schedules. So the first one will be either on September 25 or October 2. The second PTC is scheduled either on November 13 or November 20. And then the final PTC for this year, for this school year, is scheduled on May 27 and May 28. All right. So, but definitely, if there's a need for us to meet, even if it's not a PTC yet, we can arrange and schedule a different PTC for us to be able to discuss urgent concerns regarding your children. Yeah. So this is a request and a plea from all of us here in ILLC. We would like to request parents and caregivers to please refrain from contacting your teachers during class hours, unless, of course, there's an urgent concern. All right, so please refrain from texting, calling, or chatting with your teachers during class hours, as the priorities of teachers is to teach their students. All right, so parents are advised to set an appointment with the teachers in advance. So if there's a concern that you wish to discuss with the teachers, we may set an appointment just so we wouldn't disturb their ongoing classes. All right? So thank you very much po for complying in advance. All right. Next, so uniforms are not required, though they are recommended. So as per the DepEd, uniforms aren't required, but then a lot of parents that we've spoken to have shared with us that they actually recommend having their children wear their uniforms during class, as it helps them mentally prepare themselves that it's time for studying, that it's time for school. They know that when they're wearing their uniforms, it's school time. Ayan. So, it's not required, but we recommend it. Students are advised to dress appropriately. So, if ever your children aren't able to wear their uniforms, we advise them to wear sana a sleeve top or a t-shirt at least. Sana po may sleeves. And shorts or pants or skirts for girls. Ayan. So, sana po may pang-ibaba yung mga bata, just so if they have any movement activities or exercises, the student can participate readily. All right? Next. So, during distance learning, attendance by default would be marked as present. Okay, so attendance of the children by default would be marked as present because it is understood that the students, even if they're not in the online classes, it's understood that they are doing some studying offline. Yan. Then again, for the students in the synchronous program, should there be 3 consecutive days? Am I right, sir? 3 consecutive days that there's no activity from the student, no replies from, is it 3 or 5?
That's right, Teacher Dina.
3,
If the
okay, okay.
teacher or the advisors don't hear from the students or parents of kids in the synchronous and asynchronous program for 3 consecutive days, they will be notifying their heads to help them monitor and follow up. If the heads, after 2 consecutive school days, still have not observed any activity or received any response from the parents and or caregivers, then the student will be marked with a 1 day absence. All in all, that's 5 consecutive
5 days.
days.
All right, thank you, sir. So again, for if the student has not joined his or her classes for 3 consecutive days, and despite the teachers or the head teachers getting in touch with the parents, wala pa rin pong activity for 2 more days. So that's a total of 5 days without any active participation or communication with our teachers. Then that is the time when the teachers would mark the student with 1 absence. All right? So yan po. The details of the school's attendance policy is documented in our recovery and learning continuity plan. So we highly recommend that you uh, access this file. It's in your welcome kit in your Google Classrooms. So please go through and browse through our learning continuity plan. Okay. So just to briefly discuss our school calendar for this year, this is for the TEP classes, but the MBE, the FBE, the JRP, and the senior high students will have a similar calendar with just a few adjustments. Okay, so you'll see this in your welcome kit in your Google Classrooms, but just to highlight a few dates. So the start of classes we know is on August 24. That's this Monday already. The first week is devoted to orientation activities. We'll go through that in a while. we will still be having events. So even if we're on distance learning, even if we're meeting virtually this year, we will still have some school programs and events. Okay, so just like the commemoration of the Araw ng Wika, we're going to celebrate this on August 28th. That's this Friday. Next, we're going to have the ILC Friendship Cup on September 19. The first PTC I mentioned a while ago will be held either on September 25 and October 2. Next, the PTA is on October 3. That's a Saturday, so we'll have a Zoom session as well. The UN Day celebration is on October 30. Okay, so if you've noticed, we're not going to have a SEM break this year. So it's just going to be a long weekend. All right? So there's no SEM break. Dire-diretso po yung mga students. It's just going to be a long weekend kasi November 2, we don't have classes. Okay, and then November 9 to 12 is the first week of exam for the TEP sections. Okay, the MBE students would have a different schedule of exams. Next, we're going to have PTCs on November 13 and November 20. The Christmas program will be on December 18. Okay, so December 18 is the last day for 2020. We're going to resume classes on January 4, 2021. Okay? And then, Valentine's Day program po natin, again, virtually, is set on February 5. Foundation Day. Our Foundation Day, which is usually scheduled every July, is now going to be held during March. Okay, so it'll be on March 30. That's going to be our Foundation Day. And then a short break after that for Holy Week. We come back to school for the final exams on the second week of May. And then our ILLC Recognition Day is scheduled on May 21. All right. Our final PTCs for this school year is slated on May 27 and May 28. All right. So the teachers will show you your school calendars in depth later once you're in your specific or respective classrooms. I mentioned a while ago that the first week of classes will be devoted to different activities. So hindi pa po tayo magli-lessons. Alright, so we're going to have different activities spotlighting of various siguro mag-highlight po siya ng various topics. So the first day on August 24 will be devoted for introduction and team building. On August 25, we'll be devoting the day to fostering mental health and socio-emotional well-being of our students. On August 26, it'll be devoted to COVID-19 awareness and prevention. August 27 will mainly be a day for assessment for baseline skills of our children. And August 28 will be for the commemoration of the Buwan ng Wika or Araw ng Wika. So we request students to wear your Filipiniana attire on Friday, August 28. Okay? There. So thank you for listening. But for now, I'm going to turn the spotlight over to Teacher Archie again for the introduction of teachers and staff.
Thank you, Teacher Nina. It's my honor to introduce to all of you our roster of teachers and staff for the school year 2020 to 2021. So ito yung equivalent natin ng Star Circle, okay, ng Star Cinema. Sino ba naman ang hindi ma-i-impress sa ating napaka-dedicated na mga admin staff who actually also take turns in coming to school to render in-person service for parents who really need to be able to see or meet a person face-to-face. Our finance head, Ms. Lucy, our admin head, Ms. Nancy, of course, our IT staff and secretariat, Ms. Jack, Our school nurse, Miss Jean. Miss Kim is our cashier. Miss Leia as well is one of our front desk officers. So thank you for welcoming our admin staff. Next, I would like to introduce to you our teachers from the Modified Basic Education Department, which caters, as explained earlier on, to younger kids in preschool to grade 6. We have John, teacher Anna, teacher Amory, teacher Irish, teacher Alex. Also, we have teacher Donna, teacher Micah, teacher Veron, teacher Sab, and last but not least, teacher Maine from the MBE department. Right, how about a big round of applause for our MBE teachers? Yan, palakpakan naman natin. Kahit na virtual clap yan, at to turn your mic on, that's fine as well. Yan ang MBE team, cheering for their teachers. Yeah, I can hear those small hands clapping, for MBE. There you go. Of course, we have our TEP teachers, beginning with teacher Ariane, teacher Luis, teacher Pau, teacher Ralph, teacher Tom, teacher Ina, teacher Sam, teacher Tin, teacher Leia, teacher Camille, teacher Emil, teacher Lawrence, teacher John. So everyone, how about a big round of applause for our transition education program teachers? Palakpakan naman. Virtual clap. President, mga auditory. Pakinggan natin yung mic natin for the round of applause. So thank you, dear TEP teachers. Of course, we all have our teachers from the SPED Senior High School and our Job Readiness Program departments. Everyone, please welcome Teacher Pam, Teacher Pat, and Teacher Angel. Palakpakan naman for our Senior High and JRP teacher. Very good. Last but not least, we also have our teachers from the Functional Basic Education Department. Teachers Fem, Teacher Hannah, and Teacher Diane. Applause for our FBE teachers. There you go. Thank you. Now, as you might have noticed, all our teachers from MBE down to our FBE teachers are returning teachers. So we're very, very fortunate to have teachers who are already familiar with our students. Also, of course, we would like to acknowledge our remote teacher from Cebu who shall be monitoring our students from Cebu, Teacher Cherise. Yan. So just so you know, Teacher Cherise, that of course, we regard you as a very important member of the team as well. Now, our team is interdisciplinary, which means that apart from our teachers, we also have our occupational and speech therapy coordinators. Let me introduce to you our lovely and very capable and hardworking coordinators, Teacher Michiko, Teacher Aya, Teacher Alex, and Teacher Faith. They will be shared resources who will be going around the classrooms saying hello to the students. On certain occasions, they might actually schedule one-on-one consults with parents just to enrich whatever strategies that our teachers have already recommended. Our coordinators also play a very crucial part in the development of our students' individualized education program. So everyone, A big hand for our OT and speech therapy coordinators. Yan. Thank you. Time and time again, this set of teachers have proven themselves not just to be effective teaching but students, but also in mentoring and guiding their colleagues. It is my honor to introduce to you not just two head teachers as we've had before, but three teachers, beginning with the newest addition amongst our head teachers, who was formerly one of our SPED teachers in the TEP class, Teacher Rina. Rina, of course, the very youthful-looking Teacher Colleen Tabi. There you go. Di ba? Napaka-demure yung photo niya. But, you know, in real life, she's actually so energetic. Those who know her would agree. Teacher Anna, of course, is actually an outgoing teacher who incidentally will be celebrating her birthday tomorrow. So if you see her around your virtual classrooms, don't fail to greet Teacher Anna a lovely, lovely happy birthday. So everyone, our head teachers, Teachers Rina, Teachers Colleen, and Teacher Anna. A big hand for our head teachers. There you go. And thank you. Next, of course, we have our program director who's zooming with us all the way there from Tagaytay. Nako, Teacher Rika, wag mong kalimutan yung aming mga fresh vegetables and fruits we get back. But of course, because of this distance learning setup, she is as present and as involved in all our activities. Everyone, please welcome Mrs. Rika Olintan Mamaril, our program coordinator. Thank you, Teacher Rika. Big hand for Teacher Rika. There you go. And of course, you've met our program director already, and she needs no further introduction. Our very hardworking teacher who we wish will have time to sleep tomorrow, Sunday. You know, because the past couple of days she's been like up most of the time, preparing for all our activities for school opening. Everyone, our program director is Nina Almeida. There. Thank you. Big hand for Teacher Nina. So there you have it. We've met our roster of teachers, therapists, and admin staff for the school year 2020-2021. So these are just some photos of our hardworking and dynamic teachers in their trial classes. And I'm so amazed to see how quickly they have been able to adapt by learning various apps and, of course, elevating their energy level to be able to engage their students remotely from the other side of the screen. So these are just some kids learning life skills, reading, even math, and we're very heartened by the active involvement of the parents. We're truly inspired seeing dads and moms cheering their children on and giving their kids, you know, that loving guidance just for them to be able to build the confidence that they need to be able to perform the activities independently and efficiently as time goes by. So in a short while, we will be breaking into our respective homeroom orientation. I believe your respective teachers have sent you a separate link that we would like you to join after this plenary meeting for you to learn about the specifics of this school year for your child's respective class. Teachers will be introducing themselves and they will be showing you where to access the welcome kit from your Google Classroom and what the welcome kit contains. Teacher Nina has already mentioned some of these, which include the school calendar, the list of our orientation activities, the teacher's consultation hours and contact details. We'll also be uploading there a copy of the guidelines on distance education. Also, I added there a short video clip, particularly for the students. So that's just me giving my big and warm welcome for the students as they start the school year on Monday, August 24. Also, we will be orienting you to our assessment kit. For the returning parents, alam naman po ninyo biruan natin na tuwing first day of school, tayo ay nakakaroon ng board exams. Sorry to say, hindi pa rin po tayo exempted doon. But because of this pandemic, we have found ways to adapt, and we have a digital version of our subject content prioritization forms. And I believe they're also shorter because we've done our best to customize the assessments according to the different classes, syllabi, and needs. We will welcome your feedback on how we might be able to improve these, because possibly even after COVID-19, we will be retaking this practice also to make our procedures less paper dependent, which is of course more environmentally friendly. So the teachers will be giving you a quick tour of your Google Classroom, highlighting those kits that I've mentioned, as well as some of the handouts that we have already uploaded in advance for your children. So our goal is to have the learning activities prepared and uploaded 2 weeks in advance. That is to help our parents prepare for the succeeding classes ahead of time. We will have a Q&A where teachers will do their best to answer questions specific to your child's program or section's needs. And for questions that they might not be able to answer, they will be taking note of these so that they can consult their heads. They will certainly get back to you at the soonest time possible. All right, so that's what to expect after this main meeting, which we will be ending after our Q&A, which is the next segment of this meeting. So thank you to the parents who have already chatted some of their questions, and some actually have been chatted to me privately. So let me read some of the questions and I'll do my best to answer them. First question pertains to the mainstreaming opportunities for the students in the MBE. So as I mentioned, we will have a separate meeting with the MBE parents to present to them the mechanism of how we intend to conduct our mainstream activities in our sister school APM. But offhand, we would like to brief everyone that the frequency and the, I guess, duration of the mainstream opportunities of our MBE kids would be depending on their receptiveness to that exposure, also to compatibility of schedules between you and the APDM classes, and also the availability of slots for mainstreaming. But rest assured that the efforts will be rendered to be able to offer mainstream activities to our MBE students. There is also that possibility of us actually initially inviting MBE students as observers, which means that with the parents' consent and agreement, they might be invited, but have their cameras and videos off in the meantime, just for them to be able to gradually enter the virtual classrooms of APDM. Of course, our kids will be properly introduced naman and welcomed by their counterparts from the sister school. And then there's a question about the materials that were left in the classroom from last year. Dear parents, the usual practice of teachers actually is to collate the materials that the students bring with them at the start of the school year into respective, I guess, clusters, like all the scissors here, all the glues in one box, all the colored paper in one envelope. Unfortunately, because our classes were interrupted abruptly, the teachers did not get the opportunity to segregate the materials back according to their respective owners. So for those of you who wanted to know if they can come back to pick up kids' materials, they will still be here, but unfortunately, we will be able to achieve that only after the teachers have already been able to segregate the materials after the quarantine period. So apologies for that inconvenience, but rest assured that our teachers are very mindful that we have to prepare activities that wouldn't really be entailing a lot of expensive materials and instruments and tools. So the list of materials that your kids would be needing this year will also be or is also uploaded in the welcome kit that you should be having access to later. Next question pertains to assessment. So how do we intend to assess our students' baseline skills for this year? Certainly, it's going to be a challenge. It's still very different when it's the teacher who actually administers checklists and tests on the students firsthand. But for this year, we are fortunate that many of our returning students have their records intact and in place. So their current teachers will be reviewing their progress reports from last school year. And we also, of course, had the teachers from the previous year personally endorse their students to the new teachers this school year as applicable. For some students, our teachers, particularly in the early grades, preschool to grade 2, will be communicating with their parents for scheduled one-on-one assessment, particularly on reading. We also have developed a pre-reading screening tool that we hope the parents will be able to learn how to administer themselves on their children. And we intend to compare the findings of the teachers and the parents for us to have a more holistic appreciation of the students' performance. We acknowledge that there are limitations in these procedures, but yeah, we welcome whatever suggestion you might be able to give for us to be able to better appreciate our students' needs and skills and potentials. So do we have other questions? With regards to the fees of our therapy services, we have taken note of the parents who have inquired, and the office will be reaching out to you for the specifics. Let me check my checkbox if there are other questions. With regards to the uniform, we highly recommend that they wear the school uniform, but if that's not possible, at least have them wear a top with sleeves and lowers na short or long pants or skirts for girls is also applicable. For those of you who would like to order uniforms, kindly call the office. We might have stocks for certain sizes. And if you're lucky to have one available for your child, we can make arrangements for the pickup or delivery. But as we have already explained earlier on, parents are highly encouraged to have their children wear their uniform during online classes. Even for the JRP, remember that orange shirt? When it's your JRP duty day, it would be best for you to wear your JRP uniform. All right? So, do we have other questions before we break out into our respective homeroom groups?
Yeah, we have a question. For the online setup, will the attendance mentioned a while ago will also be applied? The guidelines
For the
on the attendance.
online? All right, for the attendance, mommy, for students in both the synchronous and asynchronous program, the default attendance will be present. However, if the student does not demonstrate any activity, which means participating in online classes or turning in assignments, or the parents responding to check-ins of the teachers through text or email or chat, in 5 consecutive school days, that would render the child or the student a 1-day absence, just 1 day. However, upon us being able to talk to the parents and receiving a valid explanation for the inactivity, the school will be very flexible in revising the attendance mark to a present. All right, so we're taking attendance, particularly for the graded programs such as the FBE, MBE, and SHS, because this is still required document that the DepEd expects us to submit to them at the end of the school year. So I hope that answers your question. I mean, all the students in ILLC, if they have not demonstrated any form of activity in 5 consecutive days, that's only the time that they will be marked absent. But upon us being able to talk to the parents and hearing a valid explanation for the inactivity, when I say activity, it doesn't have to be appearing real time on the camera. It could just be responding to the text, telling the teachers that they won't be online, but they will be doing the assignment, you know. So there's no activity in 5 days, consecutive school days. That's the only time that they will be marked absent. I hope that answers the question po.
Opo, yeah, it did po. One last question na lang po. Very, very quick lang po. At the moment, the setup that we chose for our child is actually online. But while in the process of, having that online class with, pwede po ba siyang i-upgrade to blended, if ever?
All right.
Or online will be applied for the entire year already?
Question po. If you remember our learning continuity plan and dun po sa ating multimodal frame of education, the ILLC is committed to offer flexible learning modes. Once the government allows for in-person instruction, whether full-time or blended, the school naman po will be prepared to receive students for blended learning. However, there might be limited slots for this. During the enrollment period, there were some parents who already enrolled their kids under the blended program just to be able to secure slots for their kids in the event that that will be allowed. But for the parents who have enrolled under a distance learning program, pwede naman pong ma-accommodate and only if there will still be slots available. Kasi we anticipate if ever that will happen, the distancing measures will still be observed. And that means we have to split our classes into smaller groups. So the question to that, mommy, is if you're keen on transferring to a blended program, best to enroll the child under the blended program now. But since it's all distance learning, magkakaroon naman po ng rebate or ng refund yung mga parents kung sakasakali na sa ngayon ay asynchronous po sila. If I remember it right, yung fees naman po yata ng synchronous is the same as blended. Tama ba? If there are any admin staff here. So if you've enrolled in the asynchronous program, and if you're enrolled in the synchronous program, kasama din po kayo doon sa prioritized sa blended. But let me take your name po, Ami, para matawagan namin kayo later regarding your inquiry. Again, ngayon po, distance learning, but if you're enrolled in the synchronous program, synchronous, same rate lang naman po yun, we believe. Yes, same rate po yun, I believe, as yung blended. So pag allowed na po yung blended, kasama po kayo doon sa mga estudyante na prioritize na. Yung mga, baka kailangan po ma-waitlist if ever, yung mga students na nasa asynchronous program. after all, I think these are the parents who are not really very keen naman po yet on in-person instruction. So, all right. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Salamat po. Now, there's a question about the materials. The list of materials needed are already uploaded dun sa ating welcome kit. And ma-access na po ninyo to as soon as mag-breakout na po tayo sa ating home orientation. So thank you, Mommy Shirley, for the encouraging words. And yung pong affirmation po na binibigay ninyo ito ay talaga namang nakakataba ng puso. Huwag po kayo ma-embarrass, Mommy. Talagang binasa talaga siya. The teachers, I think, need to hear such, words of encouragement din naman po every now and then. Salamat po, Fuentes family. And are there other questions?
Sir?
Thank you. Yes, yes, Teacher Nina.
Sir, reminder lang po for the students in the TEP program who have scheduled JRP
Right.
or FBE classes, that they would also have a separate link for Zoom later this afternoon. So after their orientation in their TEP classes, they are requested to transfer to their JRP or FBE Zoom class orientation naman po.
All right. So parents who are in the TRP and FBE, if you still have time, please attend the orientation after the homeroom orientation. If not, I believe that the teachers are also ready to give an orientation on the first day of your child's FBE and for JRP class next week. So, but if you have time to spare, mga teachers po natin ay nag-volunteer to extend time para mabigay na rin po yung mga salient information sa inyo after the homeroom orientation. All right, so do we have other questions from the body? Well, thank you po, Abejo family. Thank you for the words of encouragement. So if there are no other questions, parents, kindly check the message that was texted or emailed to you by your kids' respective advisors yesterday. That should contain 2 Zoom meeting links. One link is for this plenary meeting that we're about to end, and the other one is for the homeroom meeting that you will be having shortly. Thank you po to the Soko family, and you're all the way from Ormoc. Naku, tignan mo nga, truly national and even international tayo, I must say. Do we have parents here who are Zooming from abroad? We have some parents yesterday who are in Japan, and our students, we are excited to welcome our guests from all over the world to be amazed by the talent, the energy, and the I guess joy, found in each and every student, as well as the passion of the teachers. So thank you, students. I can see many of you are here with us today. Huwag kayong mag-alala. Ilang tulog na lang, students. Ilang tulog na lang. Tayo'y magkikita na. We're so excited to meet you on Monday. And on Monday, don't forget, the orientation week is for both students from the online, synchronous, and asynchronous programs. Okay? For the students in the asynchronous programs who might not be able to attend the online activities next week, okay lang po. We will be uploading the videos and the activities so you can perform these at home. Thank you po to the Belusillo family for the words of encouragement. Thank you, the La Peña family. Thank you, Nisa.
Thank you. Thank you, Nisa. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Thank you po. Thank you.
All right. So,
Thank
thank you, Marcos. I'm so happy to see you. All right. So if there are no other questions, hello, Marshall. Look at you, you've grown so big. At syempre, fashionista pa rin ang ating
Oo nga.
hairstyle. Ingit na ingit ako sa iyo. How I wish I could have that. How I wish I could have that part also. But I'm happy with what I have. All right. So,
All right. Sir?
welcome you, Teacher Nina.
Yes, before we go to our respective classroom orientations, let's take a photo.
Okay, let's have a group photo.
Yes.
If you can turn your cameras on, that would be great.
Yes,
So we
everyone.
can have a group photo. Nice smile, Marshall.
All right. Everyone smile. Thank you.
Yes.
Smile, everyone.
Okay.
Alex there. Look at him. There
Wow,
you
there's
go.
a lot of us right now.
Hello, Leon. Hello, Clint. All right. So
Okay.
I know you're excited to meet your classmates. Let's all say goodbye for now. And the parents and students, please click the Zoom link for your respective classroom orientation. Bye, everyone.
Thank
See
you.
See you.
Thank you po.
Thank you, everyone.
Teacher Nina.
Hello, everyone.
Bye.
Hello.
Welcome back to
Bye.
school, guys. Welcome back to school.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
See you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye,
Kali.
everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, Kiano.
Teacher Nina.
Bye.
Hi, Enzo. Hi, Yana. Hi, Jello. Hello, everyone. Hi,
Hi,
Mia.
Jamie. Bye.
Bye. See you soon. All right. Goodbye. See you soon.
Right. Bye, everyone. Thank you so
Bye,
much.
everyone. Please go to your respective classrooms. There you'll meet your advisors and your classmates. Hello, Raymond Ko. Hi, Ate. Regards to mommy. Hi, Raymond. All right, hi, Lance. Hi, Lance. Hello, mommy. Say hello to Ate Eunice. All right, hi, Lance. Hello.
Hi, Jan.
All right. Go meet your classmates. Hi, Jan. I'm so impressed by your tech skills, Jan. Now go to Class Bonifacio. You still have another meeting there.
Okay.
All right. So,
Thank you po.
I'm gonna say goodbye now. Bye, everyone.